jacuzzi that's in the locker room.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You hang up the towel and jump in naked, right?
Yes.
Okay, everybody agrees on that. So I'm at a gym where I'm a member, and I do that. I hang up the towel, I get in the jacuzzi, turn on the jets, I'm naked in the jacuzzi, and then another guy, about a minute later, older dude, walks in and does the exact same thing. Hangs up his towel, gets in. I'm on one side of the jacuzzi, he's on the other. Then a guy, it's like a Sunday morning, guy walks in with his, I would say, 3-year-old daughter.
Oh, boy.
And 4-year-old son, and they both come and they put their feet on the top step of the jacuzzi. Now, I can't get out at this point because I'll scar this girl for life. And they're just sitting there, and then the guy walks in. And the guy next to me in the jacuzzi just loses it. The kids are sitting there in the step.
The older guy you're talking about.
The older guy I'm talking about goes, "Hey, man," to the dad. Goes, "We're both naked in here, and you bring your daughter in here. You're putting us in an impossible position." And the guy immediately back goes, "Guys, I'm so sorry.
Sure.
This is a one day a week. My wife, I take the kids so she can have a couple hours." He goes, "I don't effing care if you take your kid." Like he's cussing. "I don't even care if you take your kids. You don't bring your daughter in the men's locker room. Now both of us have to make a decision that isn't fair to her." And so now I'm going, oh, God, this guy's going to come back.
Don't bring me into this.
Don't tell me. Yeah, and this guy's going to give the old, don't tell me how to parent my kids. I'm like,
right.
Okay, so I'm thinking in my head, and I'm just sitting there. I'm observing the whole thing. I'm like, if these two start fighting, do I jump out, grab a towel, and leave? Do I try and break it up when I have no clothes on?
Yeah.
What about the little kids? And then the dad, he's like right then, I would have just gone, "You know what, guys? You're right. I'm very sorry. Kids, let's go."
Yep.
Dad's not doing that. He's trying to plead his case while the two kids are splashing on the top step. And now this is going on, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. I was only going to be in there for 5, but now I'm married to my position.
You're in there as long as the kids are still in there, at least.
So
That's a tough position.
Okay, ethically, first of all, what's the play? I assume you guys both agree the dad was wrong to bring the daughter in there.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, but now that we're in this position,
Do everything else. Just don't.
do you, Trav? Do you say anything to the dad?
I would try to de-escalate in the situation. I would say to the guy that was hey, why did you put us in? Hey, take it easy. It's okay. Would you mind taking her out of here so we can get out and put on our towel?
Yep.
I would not make it worse.
No.
Look,
And this guy was hot.
The
old guy was
that's
hot.
I'm with the guy that's hot,
Yeah.
but at this point, doubling down doesn't help. You got to try to dial it back a little bit. You know what? Would you mind just getting her out of here?
A lot
so we
of
can
can't
get out?
effing believe you could be that stupid.
So
bring
he's
her in
uncomfortable.
here.
He's
Wow.
uncomfortable having a child in the locker room because
A female child.
But he's okay f-bombing her like crazy.
Correct.
In front of her?
There's a bit
The
of some
wheels are off
hypocrisy.
at this point, and I'm like stuck right in the middle.
No, we're
Emily, who's at fault in that scenario? Who comes off as the biggest jerk in that story?
I think the dad that brought their kids in. One, I'm assuming this place has childcare.
They do.
So put the kids in the childcare. That's what it's there for. They should not mixed gendered or whatever. Should not be in the same locker room until after a certain age.
Trav, you have a daughter, right?
I do.
At what age? I would assume when she was a certain age, you would take her in the men's bathroom if she had to go, right?
Yes.
Because you didn't trust her going in.
Yes.
What age did she graduate from that?
4 or 5.
Okay, this kid
4 or
was
5.
probably not there yet.
Yeah, no, see, Emily, you're not wrong necessarily, but as a parent of children and as a parent of a daughter, sometimes you lose track of the fact that there are not places to take your kids into because you just say, I'm just going to go in real quick. Kids are going to stick their feet in the hot. And you go in there and all of a sudden it's, I just stepped in it, right? I just did a thing that.
But he should have left.
And by the way,
he should have left.
You grab your daughter, you grab your son and say, guys, we need to go. That's what you do.
I should point out to you, too, that so the way this place is set up is the jacuzzi's here. To the right is both the sauna and the steam room, and guys are walking out of there naked back and forth in front of these two kids.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the dad made a tactical error.
You don't bring your 3 or 4-year-old daughter into the locker room.
Yeah, all right, so it's a public service announcement. Dad, we're sensitive that you're trying to buy your wife a couple hours. Can't bring your 4-year-old girl into the men's locker room.
But do you have to escalate it like that, right?
Oh, that dude,
shoot?
yeah, this dude.
That's bad.
This
unnecessary.
dude was looking for confrontation.
Yeah, he was having a bad
Well, he
day.
topped that story of put a towel on.
John, I have one question, though.
That was-
In this sauna jacuzzi, are they playing the Travis and Sliwa show?
No, different. And by the way, different club too. The Travis and Sliwa show was at Mountain Gate, and this is
much
at
more
Manhattan
popular
Country
there.
Club Tennis Club.
We're much more popular at Mountain Gate.
We're more of a Mountain
and
Gate.
And apparently in
type of
Mountain
show.
Gate, you have a P1 that will go nowhere without Travis and Slee. If you don't know what we're talking about, I told these guys earlier in the week, I went in there to take a shower, and the guy in the shower next to me not only had a portable waterproof speaker, but he had Travis and Slee on. It was like 11:30. It was great.
Incredible.
You guys are touching all corners of the globe.
Do you have, how long have you been doing the Lakers play-by-play? Or not even play-by-play, because I know you're sidelines for a long time.
Right. I did sideline for 10, and this will be my 11th year of
play-by-play.
play-by-play.
So you're 20-plus years.
21 years with them, yeah.
21 years doing, and you did Clippers for a while, too,
yeah,
right?
4
So
years.
you've been,
4 years of Clippers.
You've been around the NBA for a quarter of a century,
Yes.
so I would say. Do people rise to high levels inside the NBA despite rampant incompetence the way they do in the NFL and what we saw with Nathaniel Hackett last night?
Yeah, absolutely couldn't
where
believe
you just
it.
Because this is football 101 stuff. This is stuff that if you've ever played Madden, if you've ever watched a high school game, this is addition and subtraction level stuff.
It's
Does
the
that
simple
happen
stuff.
in the NBA where just a guy just flat out doesn't know what the hell is happening?
I was trying to think of a more blatant example of coaching incompetence than we saw last night, and I can't come up with one. I
do. I got one for you. It maybe not quite. Brandon Staley had to do nothing, and they go to the playoffs last year, and he decided to call a timeout. Had he just stood there and done nothing, they go to the
John
postseason.
might be a good example. Every time this scenario pops up with you and Michael about down 3, and how many different times you guys just say, just foul, right? And you see it over and over again. Where they don't foul.
I have had this conversation with every Laker head coach of the last 20 years, including Phil. And they'll all say, it depends how much time is on the clock. No. If you're up 3, I mean, and these are guys I respect. If you're up 3, or up 2 or 3, really. 2 is even better. The only thing that can beat you is a 3. Don't let them take it. Just foul them. And like the whole building's going foul, foul,
and
then
happens
you
plenty
see
of
some
times.
guy
You
hit a
listen to
3,
them.
game over.
Buck and Aikman were befuddled at what they were looking at last night. Aikman, I think, said something like, "Well, this is taking way too long, and I don't know what they're trying to get done."
Did you guys
They didn't know what to do.
have you guys seen the
They didn't
clip
know what
of
to
the Manning cast?
It's great.
How about this? Here you go. You want to listen to
Peyton
it?
Manning. Well, but what you don't hear here is Peyton Manning doing the timeout
T.O.
motion probably 40 times in a row.
So this is Shannon Sharp and the Manning brothers.
Yeah.
What the? So you just burned 30 seconds to call a timeout?
A lot of time wasted right there to call a timeout, Peyton.
You think, Eli?
Yes.
Now, if you get 5 yards, you still got 2 timeouts, but you got to get some yardage.
They're going to kick it. They're going to kick it.
Kick what?
They're going to kick. They're kicking it right here.
Kicking the field goal right here.
Hold on.
Oh,
How far,
they're kicking
let me see how far this is.
62-yarder, 63-yarder.
What?
64 was the actual number.
But what John was saying, Peyton a lot of times was either like this, like what the hell are you doing, or guys, timeout. He was doing that when there was 52 seconds left, and it went all the way down
How
to
does
20
that
or
level
whatever.
of incompetence rise to a head coaching position in that league?
Somebody explain
Momo, you look
something.
good again today.
I know. It was like a
you've
late
come in here
ad.
2 days. 2 days in a
Don't
row,
get used to it.
styling
Don't get
and
used to it.
styling and wiling.
You got to start wearing
I
suits
got
here.
lashes for days.
I know.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the one person who thinks it's not that bad what he did.
All right.
Okay.
But I'm very, in all honesty,
Yeah.
I'm very anxious to hear how you can justify this. So go ahead.
If, let's say, he had kicked the field goal with like a minute left and missed, right? The argument is now you still have enough time to use your timeouts, get a stop, and get the ball back, right?
Correct.
But what could also, let's say he kicks the field goal and makes it with a minute left. You also now left them a minute to go score, which generally speaking, you don't want to leave the other team enough time.
You're
now,
leaving out the most important part of this. It's a 64-yard
I know.
field goal. He's not going to make it. The
And it-
By the
reason
way,
you
he
went
hasn't. Brandon McManus,
it's
who has
more
a
on
big
that.
leg,
Yeah.
hasn't made a kick that far since 2009.
and you just went and moved heaven
and it's
and earth
not like
to
Mile
get Russell
High
Wilson.
Stadium. This is in Seattle, not in Denver.
You gave away everything you have to get Russell Wilson for that
Fourth
moment.
and 5,
That's
not
the
fourth
bigger
and 20,
point, okay?
right? Like
Right.
fourth and 5,
And
not
it
fourth
wasn't
and
a
20.
55-yard field goal is a 65-yard.
And then
field
after
goal.
the game, Nathaniel Hackett said, "Well, we had just given up a sack." No, you didn't. You just got
you just
9
picked up
yards
9
to
yards.
put yourself in that position.
That's right, off a run.
Well, I always think it's like whose hands do you want the game in?
Russell Wilson's.
Do you
Your
want it in
best
Russell
player.
Wilson, the
The
kicker,
guy you
or
just
your
paid
defense?
$250 million
Yeah,
to.
or your defense. I would go, of those three, the kicker, the defense, or Wilson, I would say the Russell Wilson or the defense. But you could theoretically see in his head where he's overthinking the situation, saying, "I want to run the clock down so that they don't give enough time to score."
That's funny.
If we
I
make
don't
it.
think he ran the clock down for that purpose.
They didn't know what they were
I
going
think
to
he
do.
did not
he
know
was
what
a
to do.
deer in the
They
headlights.
They had
Deer in the
no
head.
idea what the. I
Well-
talked to Rick Neuheisel about this one time about these decisions. Like, what do you do at the end of the game? To decide to go on fourth down, not go, to kick, to call timeout, to not call timeout, to freeze, all of those things.
Right.
And he said this to me. It's always stuck with me. You need to make that decision before it ever happens. That you need to talk about these things
Yep.
on Thursday. So if in these situations you just say, "Oh, this is the one we talked about. We call timeout right here."
Yep.
Because if you try to make it in the moment, you're going to bleep it up.
Well, I think I can even take it a step further than that. What calling timeout there would have done is provided them with more options. All right,
Right.
now you bring Russell Wilson over and you say, okay, it's 4th and 5. We could have McManus kick a 64-yarder, or we could have you
We have
try and
this
make it. And
play
I
that
think
we like, yep.
I think they would have made it. They were averaging 6 yards a carry, 6 yards a play the whole game, so I think they would have made it. And by the way, even if you don't, okay, you still have 2 timeouts to stop them, and you would have less. But by not calling timeout, you took away all your options.
The final play was that kick.
Right.
That's what he did.
Yeah,
the
he
final
just
play
made.
kick.
and
We're going to win it or
Nathaniel-
lose it here.
Win or lose it,
Nathaniel
yeah.
Hackett, who, by the way, when Paul, his dad, was the coach at USC, Paul's
that explains a lot.
well, no, I liked. I was going to go the other way. I like Paul. I thought he was a great
Yeah.
guy.
Might be a great guy, but was not a particularly good head coach.
I learned a lot talking to him. I thought he knew a ton about football. So I'm
That's
rooting.
different than being a good head coach.
I'm
though.
rooting for Nathaniel Hackett, but he might be over his skis. I mean, there are guys littered through history that are great assistants, which he was in Green Bay, who can't be head coach. The best example of this is a guy named Dan Henning, who was Bill Parcells' lead assistant for a lot of years. Henning was the offensive guy, and Belichick was the defensive guy.
To go to the college game, too, another good example, Norm Chow.
Right.
Norm Chow was a brilliant offensive mind, a guy that was able to coordinate offenses across the country, and they would always be great. And he was at BYU and Hawaii, I think, are the 2 places he was
Right.
head coach, and both of them were unsuccessful.
And so now the problem is the only way Nathaniel Hackett is going to win over the fan base now is to win big. If he doesn't win, and he's in the toughest division of football,
Yep.
if he doesn't win, people are going to say, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's already shown that he's not capable of making end-of-game tough decisions.
What do you guys think the odds are on 4th and 5 with Russell Wilson? You probably
At least 50%.
Yeah, you think it's let's just say it's 30%. Okay, just for the sake of argument.
And you know what the odds were that
To kick the field
less
goal?
than 1%.
Right.
It's less than one that in the history of the NFL, 2 kicks of that length or further have gone in. 2
Yeah.
Wow.
in the whole history of the league.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know
and
what
and
they were
Russell
thinking.
Wilson on 4th and 5, worst case scenario, it's probably 1 out of 4 or 5. 1 out
Wow.
of 4 or 5 is not
Only 2
terrible.
in the history of the NFL.
2 in the history of the league.
Ron,
Oh my gosh.
One ask because I know
crazy.
By the way, they kept saying, I remember Tom Dempsey kicked 63.
63.
Who has 64?
I don't-
Baltimore. Was it the
Justin
Justin
Tucker
Tucker?
has 67. That's
All right,
the
that's-
longest
yeah, that's
one.
the one.
But
That's
he's
right.
also the greatest kicker in the history of the league, and he's automatic. So
Yeah.
sure, if you had Justin
But even
Tucker,
Tucker would probably say, try and get me closer. You know?
Yes.
Well,
and-
that game, I think the Tucker
You know who would have
one
made
was
it? The new
literally
rookie
the
kicker of
last
the
play.
Browns. That guy would have made it.
Well, and
York.
yeah.
Guy
Is
was
that your
incredible.
guy?
Well, no, that was the guy who he's the only kicker who won a game the other day.
And
On
yeah, and
Sunday,
by the
the
way,
only kicker
all
who could
those
make a
guys,
kick at the end.
Chris
Steelers guy made
Boswell
one
missing
too.
kicks,
Yeah.
Evan McPherson missing kicks. I mean, they were all missing kicks.
Do you guys? I felt so sorry. They had, I think it was their 3rd string long snapper for Cincinnati.
that was so
he was
bad.
throwing changeups back there.
Yeah.
Like the ball just never got back to the
Yeah.
holder. That was a disaster.
Once it happens once, it's going to keep happening. That's the thing.
Is this we were just talking about this. Mark Cuban had some thoughts on the potential play-in or not
Yeah.
the play-in, the mid-season
In-season
tournament. What do you think is going to happen there? We still
Hold
don't
on, before
really
we get to what do you think is going to happen, what
we
is
still
it?
don't understand
Can
it.
somebody explain to me what it
Okay,
is?
do you guys ever follow like English Premier League soccer?
Not closely.
Okay. So they have tournaments in the middle of the season. And what it basically serves as is, let's say you're having a terrible year, all right? Then you can go into these tournaments, get hot, win them, and get some. So it does two things. Number one, it gives them more TV games so they can make some more money. And number two, it depends what the reward is. It's either going to be like, let's say they play this midseason tournament for $13 million to the winner. So each player gets an extra $1 million. That's incentive, particularly if you're on a last place team that's not going to the playoffs.
Sure.
The other thing you could do is you could say whoever wins the midseason tournament, automatically the 8th seed. Now, if you do better than that,
then
if
you get that seed.
Earn a seed higher than that, that becomes your spot. But
is that what they're doing?
No, they haven't announced it yet. So these are all possibilities. But they need to make the reason Mark Cuban, I think, is down on. And Bergman, didn't you say that Cuban has since walked this back? What Travis?
Yeah, he did. He said
played?
he's a fan of it now.
Okay, and I think that what happened
Really?
was the league got a hold of him and said, "Look how much more money we can make if we do this tournament."
But how is that?
But
How is that not discussed before? Because Cuban literally said he wouldn't play his main players.
Okay.
Well, not if there's not an incentive.
Okay, let me just lay this out. All right, I can just do this real fast. When the NBA has its broadcast rights come up, they have Turner and ESPN, who have been their broadcast partners for a long time. And they're going to probably have to pay more in each successive broadcast deal. The way the NBA can make a lot more money is if they bring in new partners. Not just get more from the existing partners, if they bring in new partners. And new partners are going to want something special, not just a certain
Streaming
number of
rights.
games.
Monday night
Yeah.
game. And,
Yeah. They're going to want something that feels special or different or new. So this mid-season tournament is perfect for that. You've actually seen the WNBA do this. WNBA is kind of like an incubator for the ideas for the NBA. They try them out first, and a lot of them are good, and a lot of them are But they've been doing what's called the Commissioner's Cup for a while. Guess who they sold the rights to the Commissioner's Cup to? Amazon, which now has
So now
Thursday
you get
night
somebody
football.
new into the tent.
So let's
And
see.
the other thing
So
is,
this is good for the owners, but I don't know if a
Well,
fan.
no,
wait,
remember
wait, wait.
it's a pie.
incentivized.
And
It's
I'll
a
tell
pie.
you, this
All
is
the money
important.
goes into the pie, and the players
So,
get
okay,
half.
good for the players.
But
and
he's
the
saying
owners,
what he's
but
saying. Are consumers going to consume it?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like the play-in
Are you
game
kidding?
is interesting to me because there's something on the line, but
I'll watch.
it's just money. What do I care?
Yeah, but I have to because I work for the team. But I'll watch the Lakers play the Sacramento Kings.
If I'm
on a
watching the
Monday,
Kings and the
be happy about
the
it.
Memphis Grizzlies compete for the 8th, and Grizzlies are a bad example because they're good, but two bad teams compete for. I don't give a damn. I just don't.
Well,
Wait a minute, but if it was
Here's the
Lakers Pelicans in the final,
Lakers are different because
Yeah.
I'm a Laker fan. I want to watch the Lakers play. But put it this way, if it's the play-in game between Minnesota and the Clippers, I have no interest in either one of those teams. I want to watch that because somebody's getting in.
I watched that whole game.
Me too.
I watched
So
that
did
whole
I.
game.
But that's
I was watching Patrick Beverly
Yeah.
stand up on the table.
the reason you watched it, the reason I watched it,
Yeah.
at least in part, is because there was something on the line. There were stakes.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting in, somebody's going home.
So what I would say also is, and I'll tell you, I think what's being discussed about this in-season tournament, the owners are fine with it if it creates more money, but if it costs them home games, not okay.
Right, and here's a last
home
thing,
games where they
and
make
I know
money.
we got to go. Keep in mind that for radio, we're the radio home of the Lakers. We do every game no matter what. Spectrum paid more money. Sportsnet LA paid more money to televise Laker rights than any other team in the country. The Lakers command the highest right fee there is, bigger than the Warriors. They get games taken away, Trav, all the time. They don't. They don't,
TNT and ESPN.
They don't have opening night. They don't have Christmas Day. They don't have Martin
Yep.
Luther King Day. Last year, they got kneecapped 17 times. They want some of that back.
Wow.
And I would think the midseason tournament may give them that.
Mason and Island coming up next. Momo's in for Mason. We'll see you tomorrow.
The ding for that. Momo, do you have your headphones?
Yeah.
How are you? Have you ever been part of a Live Imaging Tuesday?
I have never been part of a Live
This
Imaging
is lit.
Tuesday.
L.I.T. Live
This is a
Imaging
big
Tuesday.
moment.
I know. I like
It's a big
it.
moment for us.
I have been part of something when I did the worst read in radio history.
That was when we were promoting the Mandy's, but now
Yeah,
that kind of gave way to this.
Did you hear this yesterday, Chris? This was.
this is excellent.
Jorge
dropped a deuce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that's new?
Yeah. She did it yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. She's talking. We were talking about a tennis player who said she felt lighter after a trip to the bathroom.
Well, let's see what we can get out of you today on a Live
Okay.
Imaging Tuesday. Jorge, hit it. Mason and Ireland,
All right.
Tuesday right now.
Stay here for a second, Chris, because
Well,
I
we
heard
gotta
you
growl,
talking.
though.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Growl, Chris.
So, Chris, guest growl. Chris Morales, guest growl. All right. I'm going to say one word to you. I understand that you were flat on your back in Amanda's office nursing an injury.
I was, yes.
All right. Put
yes.
your mic back on. All right. You're gonna think I'm a little nuts, but trust me on this. Okay. One word that will change the way you're feeling and moving forward and allow you to golf at will and do whatever you want. Acupuncture. Have you ever done it?
I haven't. I do a lot of things, but
All
not
right,
acupuncture.
I'm going to send you my acupuncturist, who's a little crazy, a little nuts. But what they'll do is they'll stick a bunch of needles in the area where it hurts, and then they'll hook up electrical current to it, and you'll sit there for 25 minutes, and you will get up, and it's voila.
Really?
You're done. Oh, yeah. The other thing I would tell you to do, not as good as acupuncture, but less expensive, cryo. You ever done cryo?
I cry a lot.
Cry, not the same thing.
Okay.
You go into negative 200-degree temperatures, and you sit there for 3 minutes, and it
LZ used to do that a
gets
lot.
rid of all your inflammation, and you come in now. But the acupuncture will last longer.
Okay.
So I'm going to send you right now my acupuncturist.
Are they in the South Bay?
They are in Santa Monica, Venice area.
Okay.
Okay. And when you tell them I sent you, again, not traditional medicine. It's different.
I'm fine. I don't like traditional medicine.
Okay. But I think it will solve your issues.
Momo, have you done acupuncture?
I swear by it.
Really?
I think it's great. Yeah.
Bergman, have you ever done it?
I have one too. I have a lady who I've gone to, and there's a guy on the west side I've gone to. Both excellent. And when I had my back stuff, it was one of the only things that really calmed the pain down.
Really?
Yeah.
I did acupuncture once on my back, but that's it. Never cryo.
I'm gonna have to try this.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give you to the guys. My doctor's name, the acupuncturist, is Don. His wife Ping also does it.
Okay.
Either one. If you want somebody to talk you through it, Don's your guy. He talks the whole time. Ping just does it and doesn't say anything.
No, I like it when they talk through it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm sending it your way.
Well, thank you, John.
And hopefully it will cure your issues.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right.
Meanwhile, here we go. Mason and Ireland with Momo for your Tuesday right now.
Thank you, Chris. And we were talking about the game. Ramona, did you watch the game last night?
Yeah.
All right. What were you saying to yourself when you watched the final minute and there's a minute left and they have three timeouts left?
Well, first of all,
and the ball in the 50, and they don't do anything. They just let the clock run.
First of all, I was saying I'm going to win the mythical money.
You did. You won $10,000 off me, which is excellent.
I think I just felt like some of it was Peyton and all them yelling call timeout. Some of it was Troy Aikman was yelling that. Everyone was saying call timeout. But I guess there was I can see where his brain was going. I don't agree with it. I think he overthought it, but if he kicks it with all that time left and makes it, then you've just now left the Seahawks time to go down.
Yeah, you know what the difference
again.
is? You're ahead.
I know.
You're ahead in the game.
I know.
I mean, don't overthink this, Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, and by the way, where were his assistants?
I know.
Every professional sports team now has like 11 assistants, and football teams have like 15. Not one guy could say, hey, call timeout.
It's kind of like the opposite of the Chargers coach, the guy who always goes for it on fourth down, I mean.
Yeah.
Like, he always goes for it, and this guy apparently never goes for it. You can see it's never good to always go for it, because I think Brandon Staley probably did that one too many times and got caught there. But Nathaniel Hackett, too conservative. Like, this is just not. He's also, remember where he came from. He was Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator for a long time. And a couple years ago, there was a play with Aaron Rodgers like this, very similar. Aaron's had a couple of, at the end of playoff games, overthinking or not putting the ball in his hands, right? It just, but I think my biggest takeaway from the night was Russell Wilson's press conference afterwards.
In what sense?
He had a chance. That must have been incredibly hard for him to hold his tongue. This is a new coach. This is his return game to Seattle. The fans are booing him. Like he wants to win this game more than anything, and he had his coach's back. Like even though it was very clearly,
kind of has to, doesn't he?
He kind of has to. But you know what? How many athletes do you know in that situation when the coach, like very rookie coach, very clearly messes up, would be able to hold their tongue, and some of them, so maybe somebody wouldn't say something, but they would just roll their eyes, scoff, whatever. They would show how they were feeling. Incredible restraint there.
Yeah. I thought the Seahawks fans, which have been, 12th man, they've been a loyal fan base. I thought they embarrassed themselves last night.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why coming up next. Momo in for Mace. I'm John Ireland. Mason, by the way, later today, 3 o'clock today, we're doing that super giveaway that everybody helped us get the Cover 5 thing going the other day. But we want you to still sign up for Cover 5. Go to the App Store, download the Cover 5 app, type in for the code MI22, and you can compete against Mason and I. You can win $100 a week. But Craig, our boss, challenged Mason and I to see if we could get 2,500 people before the end of the show Friday, and we did it. And so as a thank you to all the people that signed up, we're giving them 2 tickets to the Laker Clipper opener, 2 tickets to the Ram Raider game on December 8th, Mason's ugly Ren Spooner USC shirt, and if you don't like USC, I'll get you a UCLA one instead. And they get to come in and play Game of Games. Greg, we're giving that away. We're announcing the winner at 3 o'clock today, right?
Yeah, let's just announce it at 3, and then we can figure everything
out.
So,
all right. John, guess what? Last night I stayed up and watched the Hulu Legacy
I did too.
again. I watched that last night before bed because I knew we were going to talk about it today.
Yeah.
And there was such a good scene with Shaquille O'Neal talking about how he accepted coaching from Phil Jackson when he went up to Montana to visit him.
Move this log?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Amazing.
that. Yeah, we'll talk about
this. You
this
can only find
too.
that on Hulu. Okay, it's streamed. That's the Lakers Legacy, which is part of the Disney bundle. Stream live sports and original content with ESPN Plus today. You get access to the award-winning 30 for 30 library, unrivaled UFC access, including exclusive pay-per-views, live coverage of 35 PGA Tour events each year, and thousands of hours of college sports. Get the ESPN Plus and Disney Plus bundle today and watch ESPN Originals, the 30 for 30s, the entire Disney and Marvel library, and more. Stream anytime, anywhere. Go to ESPNLABundle.com to learn more.
All right, so we'll talk about the Hulu Lakers thing. And Michael has been sending me videos from the Laker reunion thing in Maui. It's unbelievable.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you about that, too. Mason in Ireland, Momo in for Mace, ESPN LA.